Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canadian Shield. My name's Sterling. I'm your host. So the Liberal Party is losing their minds. They're all over X trying to slam Pierre Poilievre. They're trying to slam anybody that doesn't agree with them. And of course, people are not having it, and they're getting shredded. They're just getting totally torn up. The comment sections are ripping them to pieces. And of course, the problem with the the far left logic is that they won't listen to anybody that's center or right. Like, you have to agree with them 100%. If you disagree with them in any way, shape, or form, even in the smallest way, they won't give you the time of day. So the Liberal Party, of course, is tone deaf. They don't know any better because they won't listen to anybody but themselves. And it's astounding the amount of shredding that I saw today. Now, before I get into it, I would encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this channel with all your socials. I am, of course, up against the 3 censorship bills, C11, C18, and C63, which are, they say one thing and do another, right? They're targeting independent voices that don't agree with them so that they can put their own media out front. So any assistance that you want to give me, I would appreciate. I have memberships. I have an open GoFundMe to help me upgrade my equipment. Okay, so I'm going to open from this tweet with the Liberal Party, the main party itself. And it says, Pierre Poilievre says one thing but does another. What is the word to describe someone like that again? And I'm not sure what the joke is there. Like, I don't know what they found funny, but a couple of people in the comments made some pretty good burns. And this is just because Pierre Poilievre made those are some of the things that he says, right? Everything costs more, but then they say he voted against $10 a day childcare, which everybody knows is failing left, right, and center. And I don't know how that makes things less expensive. I don't know how dental makes things less expensive either. Work doesn't pay, so somehow they think that raising the federal minimum wage will change that, which I don't really understand that logic either from the Liberal Party. Housing costs have doubled, but for some reason the Liberal Party thinks that him voting against the 4 million voting against the Housing Accelerator Fund that still hasn't built a single solitary house, and he sent people to the food bank, yet somehow in the Liberal mindset, feeding children at school one meal a week or one meal a day or whatever it is changing that. It's going to mean that their parents have something to eat. It's going to mean that their parents are going to have money in their pockets and able to all of a sudden buy food. It's the school food program is, I remember images from when the Berlin Wall fell, when communism fell. I remember images that came out of Eastern Europe, from Romania, from Russia, all of the miles of people sitting there waiting for the government to feed them lunch. So capitalism works. However, having said all that, let's look at some of the comments that they got. Natasha, live free or die. How long are you communists planning on having the Transanity colors as your logo? Okay, which they started for the last month. I guess they're going to leave them there. Ann Roll says your account is high maintenance. That's pretty funny. Canada Poly cuts right to the bone. You said you'd make housing affordable. Instead, you doubled the price of housing and no one can find a house. You promised to fix the narcotics issue, but instead the narcotics issue is worse than it's ever been. You said one thing and you do it the opposite. And you're traitors, which is, I get that. I hear that one a lot. Now, remember when they said, what do you call that again? Well, Ryan Getterson says, I call it the Trudeau, where you say one thing and you do another. Then Rob Primo mentions the $2 million settlement that Trudeau had to pay for that girl that was one of his students. Please just call. Gina G says, please just call an election already. The Liberal Party are done. The majority of Canadians have no confidence, absolutely zero trust in your party. We are tired of the missing money, the scandals, your divisional politics, and your pockets being aligned with while Canadians suffer. They are just tearing her to pieces, right? It's really... it's kind of funny, really, to be honest with you, that the comments that are coming out are just harsh. So Canada Proud had put up a poll that she got from Main Street, or he or whatever got from Main Street. Do you think Pierre's lead will get even higher? She's asking, but the poll from Main Street is suggesting that the Conservatives have pulled up to 45% of the populator. Now, let me be clear. I don't trust polls to be accurate. They can really be misleading. There are some polling processes that work just really, really well. You don't know that sitting outside of a coffee shop or walking in the mall, the 150, 200, or however many people that were asked the question are A, being honest, B, not being dishonest intentionally. They could just be worried about any of the eye contact, the little subtleties that people see when they're talking to other people. There are other indicators, of course, that Pierre Poilievre is very popular, but I say this so that people don't get complacent. I don't want you to sit around. I will say again, as I've always said, we have to vote. We have to vote. We should be having like a 95% voter turnout. We should all get up and go to the polls. If you can't get up to the polls, then the poll should come to you. I don't believe in mail-in. I don't believe in online. I believe in one person. You sign your signature, you put it in there, and that's it. However, it's pretty good news. I think it's really odd that the Green Party has more than the, what are they called, the People's Party. Even the Bloc is holding on more than the People's Party. Of course, how can you say that Jagmeet Singh still has 15% and think that there's any value to this poll? I mean, every time I turn around, Jagmeet nobody shows up to his press conferences. He opens his mouth and foolishness comes out of it. So I'm surprised that he even has 15%. But that's the thing. Where do they ask this poll, right? If they ask this poll in the downtown Vancouver, well, there might be a lot of NDP support there. If they ask the poll in another area, there might not be so much support. I don't know that. I'm just saying that that's kind of the thing that you have to be wary of. And so make sure that you don't let them make you complacent, that you get up and you cast your vote in every vote, municipal, provincial, doesn't matter. If they're voting for the school board, get up and vote because you're allowed to. You have that right. And believe me when I tell you, most of the world does not have that right. Okay, there's two left that I'm doing, and Justin Trudeau was in NATO, as everybody knows, and I already did a video on the fact that he spoke to an empty room. He did a entire press release to a room that had no people in it. 4 people. One of them was the cameraman, and the other 2 were so far back they looked like they were support staff for the building, like they were just trying their best to stay out of the shot. And I think the person that took that shot is the only one that was in the front room. The room was bone empty. Like there was just nobody in it. And he took the time to post a picture from this particular stage. Like the gaslighting is astounding, right? Canada helped found NATO 75 years ago, and it has created peace and prosperity ever since. This summit, we deepened Canada's role in the alliance with a new action to strengthen our defense, support Ukraine, protect the Arctic, and our sovereignty. And then he posts a link to his government page. I think it's funny when the Liberal Party starts saying that they're fixing everything with one shot. Everything is broken. Everything's fallen to pieces. Why don't you just pick one thing to fix at a time, and maybe that will change? Because this desperate ploy to try to convince everybody that you're fixing everything all in one shot, that you've got a magic wand or a magic elixir or jelly beans for the Jack and the Beanstalk. I don't know what it is, but for some reason they just want to incorporate every single solitary problem into one slogan every time, make you believe that this one action that they're doing, like how does dental solve the food crisis? I don't understand that. How does dental solve the housing crisis? But they want you to believe that by giving dental to over 75 or under 18, that it's solving the problem. I don't get the logic personally. I think that people need to look a little deeper. However, people are paying attention to Justin Trudeau. Anne Rule put, you thought you were a king. You were an ass up over NATO's knee until you caved. 160 billion in climate change, but refusal to equip our soldiers and secure our country. Should put my glasses on, I guess. Leroy J. Spare us your faux rhetoric. Canadians have heard what other NATO members have said. And then there's a picture of Canada, Justin, be in on one of them little toy cars that you give the kids. How can we put this tactfully? They're pulling him behind, Jimbo logo. You have made Canada the weakest and most laughed at member of NATO. I mean, I could see where when he showed up today and there was nobody at that press conference of all those countries that were there, no foreign press is interested in him. No domestic press was interested in him. He claims to have met with people from Estonia, from Latvia, and nobody came into the room to just ask him one simple question, not even one, to hear what he had to say so they could play the soundbite on their Twitter feed. It's amazing the lack of respect that this guy gets on the world stage. And of course, that lack of respect will rub off onto Canadians. Bruno says, yes, this is interesting, but why have you squandered Canada's reputation by not living up to Canada's commitment of 2% GDP spending on the military? Step down immediately, as you are not capable of the basic tasks of leadership Canada needs, in my opinion. Steve Cloutier, you're wasting your breath and our time. Call an election. People are just mad, right? Like, there's not one good thing under this post, under any of these posts. The only thing that people want are the Liberals to leave the world stage, get out of the way, so Canadians can fix their problems that they've created. Dramatics. This is all you have to offer. All fluff and no substance. You are done. That's from Judy Maxine. Man, oh man. All fluff and no substance. That's not a good way to be perceived of by people. And somehow he still thinks that he's going to win us over. And somehow they think that it's going to, even if they gave everybody like free apartments today, I still wouldn't trust them, because they've shattered that trust with their lack of listening, right? That's my biggest issue. They don't listen. They don't care what you have to say. They act like pure, straight up elitists that think they know more than you, that they have better ideas than you, that they're going to do it their way or no way. I mean, it's left, far left. Okay, as normal, I saved the best one for last. Chrystia Freeland, the finance minister, I don't know what she was thinking. She put up a tweet today talking about how people should check their bank accounts. The woman who froze Canada's bank accounts, the woman who attacked people for buying T-shirts, the woman, this is how tone deaf the Liberal Party is, right? This is how out of touch they are with the pulse of the country. Chrystia Freeland puts up today, check your bank accounts. The Canada Workers Benefit was just deposited. And it's all like with the exclamation point. This is a real support for low-income workers to help cover essential costs and make life more affordable. So what you're saying is that people are working their 40-hour-a-week jobs and they don't make enough money. See, the problem with, all right, I'll get into it. It's another example of how we are making Canada fairer and more inclusive. Now, I don't know how those two connect. I don't see that logic at all. But see, that's the point of the Liberal Party. There is no logic to it. They just want to say trigger words, and they hope, just like when you've heard that song that you can't stand 100 times, all of a sudden you're humming it in the shower one day and you're like, why am I singing this song? I don't even like it. But they're hoping that you'll get some impression that they're fair. High rent is never going to be fair. Never, ever, 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 ever. And the problem is that people who think that they can buy your vote with your own money, right? It's not like she has this money. This is not her money. This is tax dollars. This is money that they took off of you, kept the lion's share, and now are giving you back a pittance and telling you that they're doing you a favor. If they wanted to do you a favor, they would make sure that one-bedroom apartments never rise above $700 in the whole country. Sure, it'd make the banks and the landlords upset, but it would mean that people could work minimum wage jobs and still live a decent standard of living. It would mean that a person working at McDonald's could afford to have a one-bedroom apartment instead of living 4 deep in a kitchen in a basement. So government is corrupt. If people are having a hard time understanding Trudeaunomics, here's a quick video to better understand it. And it's a South Park. I didn't listen to it, but it's probably pretty funny. It's going to be about Trudeau at the bank. Viva Fry says, check your bank accounts, says the tyrant who literally froze people's bank accounts with no court order or due process, while purporting to immunize the banks for adhering to her tyrannical and unconstitutional demands. I think that's one of the most important things we should take away from the Emergencies Act. Yes, there was a lot of violation, but they just went right ahead and violated our civil rights without anything. I mean, you want me to believe that you care about Canadians when the one thing that you took away was their money. I mean, without money, they can't live. You literally, because they bought a T-shirt and supported people that didn't agree with you, you literally wanted to throw them into the street, into the elements. Check your bank account? I mean, what are you talking about? Truth Seeker 01011, check your bank accounts because Freeland like to block them if you hate her and her politics that make Canada more communist, which is the Liberal goal. Miranda Veracruz de la Hoya Cardinal, shout out to Married with Children. How nice of you to give me back some of the money you confiscated from me in the first place under the threat of violence. Oh, man. Zoltan, why did you freeze them again? Oh, no, why did you freeze them again? Great news for hardworking Canadians. Every step towards fairness and inclusivity counts. Well, I guess she got one on her side. Laughing as you announce you are crushing families by seizing their money. Leroy J. put up. Vitamin D asks, why did you freeze them? International communists like you shouldn't be in charge of the government. Unacceptable. Val, why are they frozen? Sorry, I just read the first 4 words. Check your bank account. And so you can see that she just got lambasted, torn to shreds. And that's the 3 main counts, right? That's the Liberal Party, the Prime Minister, and the Deputy Prime Minister. There's no love for these people at all. And yet, because of Jagmeet Singh, they get to hold on to power for at least another 12 to 14 months. And not only that, they got to push it so that they could all get big fat paychecks for the rest of their life on the Canadian tax dollar. Because of Jagmeet Singh. Yes, I don't like the policies of the Liberal Party, but Jagmeet Singh refusing to break his whatever contract that he has with them, refusing to call a no confidence, is the reason that we are still suffering under this horrible administration. All right, I'm going to wrap here. I want to thank you all for listening. I'll talk to you next time.